Monica's final wish. A shocking turn of events rocks Port Charles. The Quartermain family thought they had finally found peace after Monica's passing. But her will revealed more than just legal documents. It unveiled a surprising revelation about love, legacy, and the bonds that truly matter. What began as a moment of reconciliation between two women who once despised each other has turned into a tragedy that will shake Port Charles to its core. The will's shocking revelation. After weeks of uncertainty, Tracy Quartermain finally located Monica's official will, and what she discovered left everyone breathless. The Quartermain mansion, the jewel of the family's legacy, would not be going to Ronnie, as many had assumed. Instead, Monica had made an extraordinary decision. The estate would remain in Tracy's hands. "I always thought Monica would give it to Ronnie," Tracy confessed to her family, holding the legal documents with trembling hands. "But she didn't. She left me the house." Yet Monica's will contained another layer of generosity that proved her heart had softened toward those she once held grudges against. Alongside the mansion decision, Monica had bequeathed a substantial sum of money to Ronnie, enough to make her dreams come true. The amount was significant, carefully calculated, and designed with one specific purpose in mind. "She left me enough to buy the house I've always wanted," Ronnie revealed, her voice wavering with emotion. "A beautiful home in North Carolina. Everything I've ever dreamed of. A friendship born from forgiveness." What made the will even more extraordinary was what happened between Tracy and Ronnie after its discovery. The two women, who had carried years of resentment and conflict, sat down for a conversation that neither had anticipated would change everything between them. The meeting was hesitant at first. Decades of animosity don't disappear in a single moment. But as they talked about Monica, about loss, and about the future, something shifted. The walls that had separated them began to crumble. "I don't hate you," Ronnie said softly. "I think I finally understand why Monica left things the way she did." Tracy reached across the table, her expression softer than anyone had ever seen it. "We've wasted so much time being angry," she replied. "Monica saw that, and she gave us both a gift, not just money or a house, but a chance to let go." By the end of their conversation, the bitterness that had defined their relationship for so long had transformed into something neither woman had ever expected: genuine friendship. They didn't agree on everything, but they had reached a truce, a real one, born from mutual respect and the shared grief of losing someone they both cared about. "I'm going to miss you," Tracy said as they embraced. "I'll miss you too," Ronnie replied. "But I'm ready for this new chapter, and I'm grateful that we got here before I left." The departure that changed everything. With her dream finally within reach, Ronnie made preparations to leave Port Charles and start fresh in North Carolina. The Quartermain family threw a small gathering to say goodbye, celebrating her new beginning and the reconciliation that had made it all possible. It felt like an ending that, despite the sadness of goodbye, carried hope and possibility. Ronnie packed her bags, said her final farewells, and made her way to the airport. As she settled into her seat on the plane, she gazed out the window at Port Charles disappearing below the clouds. Everything was finally falling into place. She was leaving behind the pain, the conflict, and the complications. Ahead of her lay sunshine, new opportunities, and the home she'd always dreamed of. The flight took off smoothly. Ronnie closed her eyes, allowing herself to relax for the first time in what felt like years. Then, everything changed. Approximately 30 minutes into the flight, the aircraft experienced a catastrophic explosion. The impact was immediate and devastating. Every passenger aboard, including Ronnie, perished in the disaster. A family in shatters. The news reached Port Charles like a shockwave, devastating everyone who knew Ronnie and, most significantly, devastating the Quartermain family to their very core. Tracy received the call first, and for a moment, she couldn't process the words. When the reality finally crashed down upon her, she fell to her knees. "No," she whispered. "No, this can't be happening. Not now. Not when we just." The rest of the Quartermain family learned the news one by one, each reaction a different shade of grief and disbelief. The mansion that Monica had left to Tracy suddenly felt cold and empty. The money she had given Ronnie intended to build a new life now felt like a cruel irony. The entire family gathered at the Quartermain home, their faces etched with shock and sorrow. There were no arguments, no family drama, only the weight of an incomprehensible loss. She was just starting over, one family member sobbed. She deserved to have that house. She deserved to be happy. Tracy sat in the main parlor, still holding Monica's will in her hands. The document that had brought so much unexpected joy just hours earlier now served as a painful reminder of how quickly everything could fall apart. Monica saw something good in Ronnie, Tracy said quietly, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to give her a second chance. And now we'll never know what could have happened. We'll never know who Ronnie could have become in North Carolina, away from all of this. The cruel twist of fate. As the family attempted to process their grief, a deeper realization began to sink in. The reconciliation between Tracy and Ronnie, the beautiful moment of forgiveness and newfound friendship, had been stolen from them. They had so little time together as friends, and now that time was gone forever. Monica's will, which had seemed like an act of compassionate foresight, now felt like a final, heartbreaking gift. She had known something about both Tracy and Ronnie that even they didn't know about themselves, that they could move past their hatred and find peace with one another. She had designed her will to create that opportunity. But fate had other plans. The Quartermain family sat together in their grand mansion, the very property that had sparked so much of their internal conflict over the years, united now only in their collective devastation. The house that represented legacy, power, and family continuity had become a tomb of sorrow. Monica wanted us to heal, Tracy said, her voice hollow. She wanted Ronnie to have everything she'd ever wanted. And for one perfect day, it seemed like maybe she'd get it. The family members embraced each other, their grief a shared burden that no amount of money or property could ever ease. Outside, Port Charles continued on, unaware that one of its residents would never return, that the woman who had finally found peace and happiness would never see the sunrise over her dream home in North Carolina. Monica's will had accomplished exactly what she intended. It had brought her family closer together, and it had given Ronnie the forgiveness and the fresh start she deserved. But in the cruelest twist of fate, that new beginning was to be experienced only in memory, not in reality. As the sun set over Port Charles, the Quartermain family mourned not just a loss, but the tragedy of a life interrupted at the very moment it was about to truly begin. Next, we will dive deep into the chilling mystery surrounding Anna Devane's ominous new life hint that could unleash a wave of human experimentation nightmares in Port Charles. In the gripping events of the November 5th episode, the seasoned spy Anna Devane finds herself thrust into a nightmare she never saw coming. Snatched from the familiar streets of Port Charles under the cover of night, she awakens in a stark, isolated chamber, her wrists bound by cold metal restraints that bite into her skin with every futile struggle. The room itself feels like a relic from a forgotten Cold War experiment, bare concrete walls echoing her desperate cries, dim fluorescent lights flickering overhead like a bad omen, and the faint hum of machinery vibrating through the floor, hinting at horrors lurking just beyond her sight. As Anna strains against her bonds, pounding on the unyielding door and shouting for anyone, Robert, Felicia, or even a passing stranger, her voice cracks with a mix of defiance and raw fear. This isn't just a random abduction, it's a calculated move by an enemy who knows her deepest vulnerabilities, turning her legendary composure into shattered panic. Viewers can't help but feel the tension building, wondering if this is the end of Anna as we know her or the start of something far more sinister. Then, cutting through the silence like a ghost from her past, a distorted voice crackles over an unseen speaker system, sending chills down spines on both sides of the screen. The tone, gravelly and laced with that unmistakable Scandinavian edge, echoes the long-departed Caesar Phazon, the obsessive villain whose shadow has loomed over Anna's life for decades. Phazon's voice, or at least its eerie imitation, taunts her with memories of betrayal and loss, perhaps a deliberate nod to their twisted history of espionage games turned personal vendettas. But is this truly the resurrection of a dead man? In the unpredictable world of General Hospital, where the line between life and death blurs like mist over the harbor, anything's possible. Faison has died before, only to slither back into the plot with a new scheme, maybe enhanced by black market tech or a secret ally pulling strings from the grave. Even if it's a fake-out, a psychological ploy designed by her captor to exploit Anna's trauma from past encounters, the effect is devastating. She freezes, her eyes widening in disbelief, as flashes of old wounds resurface, the pain of losing loved ones to his machinations, the endless cat and mouse chases across Europe. This voice isn't just speaking, it's weaponizing her history, leaving her isolated and unraveling in the dim light. The message itself escalates the dread to new heights, delivered with a calm that belies the terror it promises. Be at peace, Anna, the voice intones, almost soothingly. Before dropping the bombshell, you're on your way to a new life. What could this cryptic phrase possibly signify in the context of Port Charles' underbelly of secrets? Anna's reaction says it all. Her face pales, her breaths come in sharp gasps, as if she's glimpsing her own obituary rewritten as a lab report. To her, this isn't a fresh start, it's a euphemism for erasure, a forced transformation into something unrecognizable. Speculation runs wild here. Is her captor planning to reprogram her mind, wiping away years of spycraft and family ties to create a blank slate for their agenda? Or perhaps it's tied to underground biotech firms lurking in the city's shadows, where Port Charles' elite fund experiments that skirt the edges of ethics. Imagine Anna, the unbreakable WSB agent, reduced to a vessel for untested serums or neural implants, her sharp intellect dulled into obedience. The new life could mean relocation to a hidden facility overseas, perhaps in a neutral country like Switzerland, where Faison once hid his lairs, far from rescue attempts by her allies. Whatever the intent, it's clear her abductor views her not as a person, but as raw material for a grander design, one that twists salvation into damnation. This puzzle piece snaps into place when we connect it to the bizarre reappearance of Nathan West, Anna's son who vanished from the narrative only to resurface like a specter with a 7-year gap in his memory. Nathan strolls back into Port Charles with an air of detached serenity, casually dismissing the lost time as he chats with old friends at the Floating Rib or Kelly's Diner. He speaks of embracing his new reality, words that now ring with eerie similarity to Anna's fate, suggesting he's been molded into this version of himself through coercion or alteration. During those missing years, was Nathan ensnared in the same web? Picture him as the unwitting pioneer in a series of trials drugged in a sterile lab, subjected to memory suppression therapies that erased his detective skills and family bonds, only to be released as a test of the procedure's success. His calm demeanor hides subtle tells, a slight hesitation in conversations about the past, a faraway look when Anna's name comes up, as if fragments of truth bubble beneath the surface. If Nathan was reshaped into this new man, Anna could be next on the list, her expertise as a spy making her the perfect candidate for advanced iterations. Perhaps her captors are refining the process, using Nathan's case as a blueprint to eliminate loose ends like her unyielding loyalty to Port Charles. The parallels are too stark to ignore, turning a family reunion into a harbinger of shared torment. Shifting focus to the younger generation, Emma Scorpio Drake's recent crusade against animal testing at local labs adds another layer of foreboding irony to this unfolding drama. The spirited teen, with her mother's fiery determination and her father's inventive spark, has been rallying protests outside shady research centers, decrying the cruelty inflicted on innocent creatures for so-called scientific progress. She's uncovered documents hinting at unethical practices, vivisections masked as advancements, funding trails leading to Port Charles power players. But what if Emma's activism is brushing too close to the real fire? While she's fixated on furry victims, the true monstrosity might involve humans, with Anna as the latest victim in a pipeline of test subjects. Imagine the horror if Emma stumbles upon evidence that her own grandmother is entangled in this file stamped with Anna's name. Alongside notes on Phase 2, human integration, Emma's worry could pivot from petitions to personal stakes, forcing her to infiltrate the very facilities she's protesting. Perhaps teaming up with hacker friends or enlisting Max Scorpio's police resources. This storyline could explore generational trauma, with Emma confronting the legacy of her family's spy roots, realizing that the experiments aren't confined to cages but extend to the people she loves most. Her grandmother's peril might ignite a fiercer resolve, blending youthful idealism with the harsh realities of Port Charles' dark side. Delving deeper into the speculative undercurrents, the specter of cloning emerges as a particularly twisted possibility, echoing Faison's obsessions with duplication and control from his earlier plots. Remember how he once toyed with identities, creating duplicates to sow chaos. This new life could involve splitting Anna into versions, the original spirited away to a life of servitude in a remote outpost, while a clone slips back into Port Charles, mimicking her perfectly, but programmed with subtle loyalties to the enemy. Envision the clone attending Metro Court galas, sharing laughs with Valentine, all while leaking intel under the guise of normalcy. The real Anna, meanwhile, endures grueling sessions in a lab DNA extractions under bright lights, identity crises as she's fed false memories of a simpler existence. Cloning tech, perhaps bootlegged from Helena Casadin's old vaults, would allow her captors to neutralize threats without messy eliminations. Signs of foul play could include glitches in the clone's behavior, a momentary blank stare during a tense Q family meeting, or an inexplicable aversion to certain phrases tied to her past. This dual existence horror would ripple through relationships, Robin Drake questioning her mother's authenticity, or Frisco Jones launching a frantic search that uncovers the facility's coordinates. It's a plot device ripe for betrayals, with allies unwittingly aiding the imposter until the truth explodes in a confrontation worthy of daytime TV legend. As the dust settles on this abduction twist, one thing remains crystal clear. Anna's new life trajectory spells unrelenting turmoil for Port Charles. Whether through mind-altering experiments, forced rebirths, or shadowy resurrections, the chaos promises to ensnare more innocence in its grip. Friends like Laura Spencer might sense something amiss during council meetings, while Sonny Corinthos' network picks up whispers of underground dealings. The stakes climb higher with each passing episode, blending high-stakes spy thriller elements with the emotional heart of family bonds under siege. Next, we will dive deep into the burning question that's captivating fans everywhere. Will Joe Palmieri finally decide to alter his surname and embrace a new chapter in his identity? In the intricate web of Port Charles family dynamics, Gio's journey has been nothing short of a roller coaster, marked by revelations that have shaken the foundations of his world. Born into secrecy and raised under the protective shadow of his adoptive mother, Camila, Joe has carried the Palmieri name as a badge of loyalty and love, a constant reminder of the woman who sacrificed everything to give him a stable life. Yet, as layers of his biological heritage peel back, whispers of change echo through the Quartermain mansion and beyond. Imagine the emotional turmoil Joe faces each night, staring at old family photos where Camilla's smile anchors him, while echoes of his true lineage tied to power players like Sonny Corinthos and the enigmatic Falconeri line pull him in conflicting directions. This internal battle isn't just about a name, it's a profound exploration of belonging, where every decision could redefine alliances in this tight-knit yet fractured community. The speculation around potential name changes has fans theorizing wildly, starting with the Quartermain option, which seems like a natural fit given his deepening bonds with the iconic clan. Picture Joe stepping into the opulent Quartermain estate, where portraits of past patriarchs gaze down approvingly. Adopting Quartermain could symbolize his full integration into this legacy of wealth, drama, and unyielding family ties. We've seen how they have welcomed him with open arms, Tracy's sharp wit masking genuine affection, Ned's strategic guidance during crises making this choice feel like a homecoming. But it's not without complications. The Quartermain's history of infighting and betrayals might make Joe hesitate, wondering if their name carries more baggage than blessings. Still, in recent episodes, subtle hints like shared business ventures and heartfelt toasts at family gatherings suggest this path is gaining momentum, potentially unlocking new storylines involving corporate takeovers or hidden trusts in Gio's favor. Shifting gears to Corinthos, honoring his grandfather Sonny would be a bold nod to the tough love that's shaped Gio's resilience. Sonny, the ever-vigilant kingpin with a heart of gold beneath the steel exterior, has poured guidance into Gio's life, from street-smart advice during tense confrontations to protective gestures amid mob threats. Adopting Corinthos could elevate Gio's status in Port Charles' underworld circles, granting him access to Sonny's vast network and perhaps even a role in averting family feuds. Envision intense scenes where Sonny shares war stories from his youth, forging an unbreakable mentor-grandson bond that transcends blood. However, this choice risks drawing Joe into dangerous shadows, like rival gang skirmishes or ethical dilemmas over loyalty, adding layers of suspense to his arc as he balances admiration with the fear of corruption. Fans are buzzing about how this could parallel past Corinthos dramas, enriching the narrative with high-stakes action. Then there's the Falconeri route, linked to his biological father, a path fraught with uncertainty due to their strained, almost non-existent connection. Gio's bio dad, a figure shrouded in mystery and regret, represents untapped potential, but also painful abandonment. Reports suggest the man was unaware of Gio's existence until recent DNA twists surfaced. Choosing Falconeri might serve as a bridge to reconciliation, perhaps through unexpected encounters at a dimly lit diner or a chance meeting during a town festival, where buried emotions erupt. Yet, the rocky history marked by rumors of the father's fleeting romances and unreliable nature makes this seem improbable in the short term. Inventively, we could see Joe exploring old family artifacts, like a locket from his paternal line, sparking curiosity that leads to therapy sessions or private investigations. This option adds psychological depth, highlighting themes of forgiveness and self-discovery amid the soap's signature betrayals. Of course, sticking with Palmieri remains a heartfelt tribute to Camila, the woman whose unwavering devotion defined Gio's early years. She wasn't just a mother, she was his anchor through foster system hardships and quiet dreams of a better life, instilling values of integrity and kindness that clash with Port Charles' chaos. Retaining the name honors her legacy, perhaps through flashbacks to tender moments like baking holiday treats or late-night talks about aspiration. In a world where adoptions often lead to identity crises, Gio's loyalty here underscores the power of chosen family. Adding a new twist, suppose Camila left behind a hidden journal detailing her hopes for Gio's future entries that could influence his decision, revealing untold sacrifices and strengthening his resolve to preserve her memory. This steadfast choice might even inspire side stories, like Joe establishing a foundation in her name to support other adoptive families. Social media is ablaze with passionate debates as General Hospital enthusiasts dissect every nuance of Gio's dilemma. One devoted viewer posted, "Gio's Palmieri roots run deep, changing it now would erase the woman who raised him from scratch." Camilla's story deserves that permanence, especially since his bio ties were a shock to everyone involved. Echoing this, another fan elaborated, "Adoption isn't a phase, it's a lifetime bond." If Joe swaps names entirely, it disrespects that journey. Remember how Michael's shift to Quartermain stemmed from AJ's neglect? Sonny's warmth made it fitting then. But Gio's got no such fracture with Camila. These sentiments highlight a broader conversation on identity in soaps, where fans appreciate when characters honor their origins amid revelations. Diving deeper into the discourse, a third commenter insightfully noted, Gio's hesitation with the Quartermains isn't just name-related, it's about filling the void Camila left without betraying her. He's got to realize love multiplies, not divides. BLQ's pep talks and Lewis's wisdom are nudging him there. Indeed, inventive expansions could include group therapy scenes where Joe confides in peers like Emma, who shares her own blended family struggles, fostering growth. Another tweet captured the essence: Falconeri, unlikely with that absentee dad vibe, but Corinthos feels right for the grit Sonny's instilled. Still, Palmieri stays if Gio's heart leads. Or perhaps Cirulo as a compromise, blending Lewis's vibrant Italian heritage with Gio's story. Fans speculate this could emerge during a family wedding, symbolizing unity. Yet, skeptics push back, arguing evolution demands adaptation. Gio's stalling on the X because he's scared of imperfection. They've owned their mistakes, from Edward's secrets to Monica's comebacks. Dante and the crew keep lines open. What more proof? One analyst wrote, predicting a pivotal confrontation where Joe voices fears, leading to tearful apologies and breakthroughs. These exchanges reveal the soap's genius in mirroring real-life adoption debates, with fans drawing parallels to cultural identity shifts in diverse families. Adding flair, imagine viral memes juxtaposing Gio's brooding stares with name options, fueling hashtags like Jonah Meshange and Porturless Legacy. Looking ahead, Gio's path promises twists that will keep viewers glued to their screens. As he grapples with these choices, expect intensified interactions, perhaps a clandestine meeting with his Falconeri kin uncovering suppressed memories, or a Quartermain gala where name discussions ignite fireworks. Sonny's influence might culminate in a protective act against external threats, tipping scales toward Corinthos' solidarity. Meanwhile, Camilla's enduring spirit could manifest through symbolic dreams or surprise visits from old friends, reinforcing Palmieri's pull. With BLQ orchestrating interventions and Emma bridging generational gaps, Gio's evolution will explore forgiveness, heritage, and reinvention in profound ways. It goes without saying that General Hospital devotees must catch every episode to witness how this saga unfolds, packed with betrayals, romances, and the unbreakable threads of family.